Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police and Fire Departments. Thanks for joining us. I'm Officer Brian Hubbard. For at least a year, the City of Edina's Emergency Dispatch Center will operate at full capacity. The center was built in 2004 to service 3 separate agencies should the need arise, and it did when the City of Richfield came on board last month. Edina also dispatches for Golden Valley. A 15-member transition team comprised of Edina and Richfield staff had 3 months to incorporate Richfield's dispatching needs into the center after the Richfield City Council determined that outsourcing dispatch would be more economical than upgrading its own hardware and software. Edina will dispatch for Richfield for at least 4 years.
When we took on Richfield, we weren't officially at fully staff because of the fact that we had them in training, but now they will be taking on one of those allotted shifts. When we're fully staffed, it's nice because we have the triple coverage at times for all 3 agencies. So if we do have other bigger emergencies in one city, we can take a dispatcher and put it on that incident and have 2 additional dispatchers handling the rest of the call volume.
A lot of technology updates were required to prepare the center for the expansion. Both the phone system and computer-aided dispatch, or CAD, system needed to be populated with Richfield data. Active 911, the software program the Richfield Fire Department uses to get critical information for emergency calls, also needed to be integrated into Edina's operations.
The real goal of this project was to open up the networks between the 2 cities, make sure that there was a good communication between those 2 networks, make sure all the access was in place. In spite of the obstacles that we faced during this project, I think our team really brought the A game and was able to really come together and deliver a very successful product to our customer.
The Edina Police Department hired 2 of Richfield's dispatchers. Anticipating a higher volume of calls, the department also plans to add more phone lines to the dispatch center.
We dispatch very similarly that the dispatchers did for Richfield. So in terms of their fire and our fire, it's very similar. They go to all medicals. They do a lot of invalid assists and things like that. So we've got a lot of similarities, but there are just a few key differences that we're working through.
Edina will continue to provide dispatching services for Golden Valley through 2014. Still recovering from the aftermath of civil war, Liberia's nearly 3.5 million citizens are served by just a few fire trucks nationwide and have scarce resources to rely upon in the event of a fire emergency. Early last month, the Fire Rescue Alliance, a coalition of firefighters from the United States, landed in Monrovia, Liberia's capital and largest city, to help the beleaguered African country rebuild its fire services. This recent mission was the 3rd such deployment to Liberia, and Edina Fire Marshal Jeff Siems was part of the team teaching fire rescue and prevention and coordinating fire gear donations. Let's join Officer Aaron White, who is with Siems, to ask him about this incredible experience.
Thank you, Brian. We're out at Fire Station 1 here in Edina today, and I'm joined again by Jeff Siems. Jeff, good to see you again.
Thank you.
Kind of a fun topic we're going to discuss today. You recently returned from a really cool trip. You did some volunteer work, taking your fire experience abroad, if you will. Tell us a little bit about where you went.
So I had an opportunity to go over to the nation of Liberia. Specifically, I went to Monrovia, Liberia, population, capital city of about 1 million folks. Overall, the country of Liberia has 3.5 million individuals within the area roughly the size of Ohio.
Okay, and what was your function over there? What did you do?
So this was part of a mission trip where I went over and helped them rebuild their national fire service. They are just coming out of a couple of civil wars, so a lot of their infrastructure and a lot of their capabilities have been hampered by the wars. Mm-hmm. So our role was to go in there and help them pick up the pieces and start rebuilding after their Civil War, the National Fire Service.
Sure, something we certainly take for granted here in Edina is a really strong EMS and fire service. So, tell me, what is the current state of things there in that regard? How do they compare to what we have here at home?
It's very difficult to compare, quite honestly, for the population, let's say Monrovia, the capital city. They have 1 functioning fire truck and 1 ambulance that had to be push-started and pop the clutch in order for it to get started for a population roughly the size of Minneapolis and St. Paul.
And part of your trip, you guys did donate some equipment. Tell me about that.
We did. The equipment that we donated included personal protective equipment, fire gear, helmets, boots, gloves. Before they received this equipment, they were actually fighting fires in flip-flop shoes and t-shirts and shorts. So now that they are properly outfitted and protected. And then we also donated a fire engine and an ambulance, and then associated fire gear, so fire hose, nozzles. They don't have anything, so it's literally starting from zero.
Well, equipment's obviously important,
It
but
is.
the truth is you guys also brought a ton of expertise over there. How were you able to help as far as training and advancing that cause?
So one of the things that we did is we put together a cadre of professionals that have extensive experience in fire and pre-hospital EMS. And we went over there with the task of not only teaching the firefighters, but also, more importantly, teaching their instructors on how to educate the rest of the fire force. One of the things that's really interesting is that the last outside influence was actually from the Spaniards in 1972. So they haven't had any type of outside fire training or influence, including, fire building codes or how to fight fires since the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Well, sounds like just an incredible difference. We've got apparatus from Edina sitting behind us, and if the call comes in right now, they roll out the door there to your house in 2 minutes. There, you're talking about 1 million people being served by a handful of vehicles, and night and day.
It really is, and it's exciting because we were able to bring a fire truck with the modern advancements such as what we enjoy here in America over there, and we really believe that we moved the dial quite a bit for them in regards to fire protection and, more importantly, protection for the citizens of Liberia.
Well, it sounds like you certainly did. Some great expertise, some great equipment, and an unbelievable volunteer experience. I mean, way to go giving
Thank you.
of yourself and representing the city here. So thank you, Jeff, for your work and your volunteer work in Liberia.
All right, thank you.
And that is Jeff Siems, a member of the Edina Fire Department, where he's fire marshal. We'll return to you, Ryan.
Thank you, Aaron. After a stretch of more than 6 weeks without a structure fire in Edina, the fire department battled a garage fire in mid-December. Edina Fire was dispatched to the 6300 block of York Avenue on December 16th after people in nearby buildings and passersby made several reports of smoke and flames coming from one of the apartment building's detached garages. Crews arrived to find a car on fire inside the garage. Crews from Edina, Bloomington, Richfield, and St. Louis Park worked through the cold to extinguish the flames and prevent it from spreading to adjacent garage units. While checking for fire extension in the garage, the body of an adult male was discovered in the front seat of the vehicle. The cause of the fire is currently unknown. The State Fire Marshal's Office and the Hennepin County Crime Lab are assisting Edina with an investigation. An autopsy suggests that the man died before the fire started. Attention dog owners, it's time to renew your dog licenses. Residents are required to purchase a license for all dogs 6 months of age or older. Licenses are to be renewed annually at the beginning of each year. The licenses cost $20 for dogs that are spayed or neutered and $30 for those that are not. The City of Edina allows a grace period until March 1st. After that time, renewals cost an additional $10.
Compliance with dog licensing is actually much lower than it should be, and that does make it somewhat difficult to get in touch with owners. Even if they are licensed, oftentimes they're not wearing their tags and so forth, which is required by ordinance. And the reason for that is that it makes it much quicker and easier for us to get the pets back to the homes.
Although state licensing statutes were originally instituted primarily to ensure that dogs were vaccinated against rabies, the ordinance is now used most often to aid officers in returning lost dogs to their owners. The City of Edina returns 90 to 95% of the 50 to 75 dogs that run away from their owners each year, well exceeding the national average return rate of 50 to 60%. On behalf of my co-host, Police Officer Aaron White, and the City of Edina's Public Safety team, thanks for tuning in to learn a little bit more of what goes on beyond the badge. Until next time, stay safe.
Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund,